The second episode of Loki Season 2 primarily revolves around the attempt to make the temporal loom process branching timelines into a coherent thread. However, this task requires opening the blast doors that were closed to protect the TVA from loom radiation. The catch is that they need the temporal aura of He Who Remains, who is now deceased. Mobius and Loki compel X5 to reveal SYLVIE's whereabouts. Just as Loki and SYLVIE aim to resolve their differences and understand why Loki saw SYLVIE in the future, they discover that General Dox and her team are relentlessly pruning timelines. Mobius, Loki, and SYLVIE apprehend her, but the damage has already been done. Meanwhile, Casey reveals that he knows Renslayer's current location. Mobius and Loki track down Victor Timely. Renslayer lands in 1868 Chicago, where Miss Minutes instructs her to deliver the TVA handbook to a young Victor Timely. This mission aligns with He Who Remains' plan to set Timely on a path to becoming the next Kong or He Who Remains. Back at the TVA, OB notes that due to Dox's pruning, the loom has temporarily stabilized. However, it's a short-lived respite as the branched timelines are regrowing. This raises the question of how these timelines can grow back after being pruned, challenging the assumption that pruning is permanent. B-15, Casey, and others brainstorm finding Miss Minutes, who has administrative access to the TVA. They know Miss Minutes is with Renslayer, making her a key to averting a temporal catastrophe. Mobius and Loki pursue Renslayer's tempad through two linked time periods, 1868 and 1893. While they can't initially understand Renslayer's presence in 1868, it becomes clear that her role was to shape Victor Timely into the person he becomes in 1893. Without overthinking it, Mobius and Loki enter 1893, finding themselves at the Chicago World's Fair. After some investigation, they locate Timely's show, with Miss Minutes and Renslayer also present. The revelation that Timely is a variant of He Who Remains ties into the post-credits scene from Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. Notably, there's a disparity in color grading between the two scenes, raising questions about Marvel's presentation. Timely demonstrates the time loom, which is still in its prototype form, before being surrounded by Renslayer, potential buyers, and the TVA duo. It's disclosed that Timely is not a genius, but a swindler, prompting a chase. Miss Minutes betrays Renslayer. The pursuit of Victor Timely is interrupted by SYLVIE, who travels to 1893 using He Who Remains tempad. She intends to kill Timely and all Kong variants, despite the presence of a stadium full of Kong variants, as seen in Quantumania. Questions arise about their inaction during these events. SYLVIE is convinced that Timely is on the path to becoming the next He Who Remains, unaware that Renslayer and Miss Minutes are involved on He Who Remains orders. The situation is complex, and Loki emphasizes the need to keep Timely alive, hoping to use his temporal aura to fix the temporal loom. SYLVIE disregards Loki's plea, leading to a confrontation where Timely manages to escape with Renslayer and Miss Minutes. They provide Timely with crucial information about He Who Remains and the TVA. Renslayer wants to stabilize the loom to save the TVA, similar to Loki's goal. However, she mistrusts Loki's intentions, attributing his actions to shifting allegiances. Timely believes in Renslayer, and they escape on a ferry. Just as their relationship appears to be strengthening, Miss Minutes convinces Timely that Renslayer was using him, leading to Renslayer's fall into the waters in a rowboat. Did SYLVIE kill Victor Timely? Before Miss Minutes' betrayal, she appeared to resent Renslayer's efforts to win Timely's trust. Minutes expresses her love for He Who Remains, stating that he provided her with everything except a physical body. This concept disturbs Timely, and he shuts her off. Meanwhile, Timely acquires a mysterious device, likely for fixing the temporal loom. Renslayer finds a similar device, resembling a prototype of the time stick used for pruning. As Loki and Mobius try to persuade Renslayer to cooperate and prevent the temporal loom from exploding, things take a turn for the worse as SYLVIE re-enters the scene, intent on killing Timely. In a pivotal moment at the end of Loki Season 2, Episode 3, Timely convinces SYLVIE that he is not the same as the genocidal variant she's faced before. SYLVIE acknowledges that he may be on a path to becoming another He Who Remains, but Timely promises he won't. This revelation leads SYLVIE to spare Timely's life. Loki and Mobius act swiftly, taking Timely to the TVA. Meanwhile, SYLVIE pushes Miss Minutes and Renslayer into the Citadel at the end of time, revealing a decaying palace with a rotting corpse at its center. To reignite Renslayer's motivation to reach Timely, Miss Minutes teases a story that will infuriate her, likely a love story between Miss Minutes and He Who Remains. The story could trigger Renslayer to either rescue Timely or eliminate him, considering he's a version of her tyrant ex-boyfriend.